Welcome to Heavy2Hustle, the podcast where growth is heavy, but the hustle is heavier.
Yeah, and today's episode is all about change. Change within your weight loss journey. What does it look like? You're going to have change as far as the one that hurts, the one that heals, the one that hypes you up. It comes with a variety of change, and we're going to get into that today. We're going to talk a little bit about it.
Absolutely. We got a couple segments that we're going to cover today. One of them is going to be the mindset shifts. The other is physical changes, relationship and social changes, and lifestyle and hustle shifts. Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's tell everybody, who's Sandy?
Sandy. Well, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm just a girl trying to figure herself out. We went through the mommy phase, got lost a little bit, and now I'm just finding myself, especially in all these new changes of weight loss. I started that journey about a year ago, or a year and a half ago. And a lot has changed since even then. So I'm just learning to find my new self, working with her and everyone around me and adapting because everything's changing.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you can vouch for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Alex. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Sandy and I, we're married, and we wanted to start this podcast to tell everybody our story and give people hope, let them know that change can happen.
No matter what environment you're in or what mindset you're in, if you don't like something, you can always change it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, I'm going to throw some questions out there and we'll go from there. But what triggered your biggest mental change?
My biggest mental change, or what triggered it, I was unhappy in every aspect. Physically, mentally, it just really you hit that point where you have to make that change, and you got to find it, and you got to know what's it going to take. What about you? What triggered it?
Along the lines of that, but as well as, for me, it was just hitting rock bottom. You know, I don't think anybody ever really knows what that means or what it is or how do you look out for it. But believe me, when you hit rock bottom, you absolutely know you've hit rock bottom. And for me, it was just the physical aches, pains, the lack of, for my kids, for my family. I wasn't present. I wasn't in it. I was just walking around idle, like a zombie, just existing. And I wasn't enjoying my life. And I didn't understand why, but I found the reason why. And I decided I need to change it.
Yeah.
And that's how, the cookie crumbled.
Yeah. We all have that breaking point, and for everybody it's different. So how do you stay grounded while evolving?
That's tough. That's tough because you always find a reason. I don't know if it's human nature or what it is, or just the lack of enthusiasm towards change, but nobody likes change, period. And when you start to see your environment and like how people are reacting to those changes that we're talking about, it's almost like it's their nature as well to remind you of why you shouldn't.
Right.
What's normal, what's not. And what you're doing, that's not normal because you're letting them know what they're not doing. So they want to make you kind of come back to us, stay here. But just remembering why you started, remembering the fact that you did hit rock bottom, that was the why. That was many, many other reasons, but just remembering the why.
Absolutely. For me, it was my inconsistency in the past. I've always been a big guy. Anybody that knows me, I've been big my whole life. And I've done it all. Every fad that you can think of. And what grounded me in this process now, what's gotten me here, is that I was defined, and I was telling myself that I'm going to prove myself wrong. And that this time it's going to stick. It's definitely something that really, really pissed me off, because I would always start it and never finish. So that for me is what's keeping me grounded.
But I think that can resonate with everybody, because everybody who hasn't yo-yo diet or yo-yo dieted,
yeah,
where you start and then, you're like, you lose track of your goals, you lose your why, and you start focusing on everybody else and you forget about you. And then, then you stop, you gain the weight back, and then you start again. So,
and It's the lack of motivation, because motivation will fade out.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when, like I said, your environments play a major role.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to understand where you are and where you shouldn't be and where you need to be.
What's one belief that you had to unlearn? All right. There's a lot, but I mean.
Okay. Well, I'll just give you one that really triggered me, and I think that I don't understand why. Maybe it's the culture or whatnot, but I was always told, like, es que tú eres gordita. Tú siempre vas a estar gordita.
Yeah.
You're big boned.
The tías, huh?
I won't say who, but
we're not going to name drop, but
no, it's it doesn't matter who it is. You should never be told that. But they can't help but to say those things from a good place. But I believed it. You get to a point where you believe it, where you say, no, why am I fighting it? I'm just supposed to be big. Like, I'm supposed to be, big. I'm big boned. That's cute, but you're not. You're just not. So I needed to unlearn that, and I needed to understand that I am deserving of this life. I am deserving of this body. I am capable of achieving those things that they said I couldn't. Not because they didn't believe in me. I'm sure they did, but they just didn't want to set me up for failure, because that's what they knew. That's what the ones before them knew. But that's not the story for me. And I made sure that it wasn't. So I had to unlearn that. And that was tough, because how do you unlearn something that you've heard all your life? And from the people that are closest to you, you believe it. It's hard.
Right.
What about you?
What are the beliefs I had to unlearn? It was that I was going to fix myself in 90 days. And I know everybody's seen it. You go on Instagram, I mean, whatever social media, and you're going to see an ad of some guy that's got a 6-pack and he's working out, and he looks at you in the camera and he tells you, just give me 90 days.
I believe that guy every time. I believe that guy.
Absolutely.
You fall for it.
And it just says, they tell you that, they're going to fix you and sign up or do this, and 90 days, it's done. But it doesn't work that way. I mean, I wrecked my body. I wrecked my whole mindset for 35 years. And how am I supposed to fix that in 90 days? Shoot, I've been at it for 2 years trying to fix myself. But what I'm trying to say is the work doesn't stop after that. 90 days is like it'll kickstart it. Absolutely.
It's the precursor for the start of even starting your journey, to be honest. It takes about 90 days for you to really, really resonate with the idea that, okay, I'm making this change. I'm going to start working out every morning. I'm going to eat healthy foods. Yeah. 80-20, baby.
Yeah, but, even during those 90 days, the motivation is there, right? You're just, you're going and you throw everything out of the pantry, all the junk food, and you say that, you're sticking to it. You're going to go and buy the new outfits, and you get the membership, and 90 days. And
you know why I think they say 90 days? Because they want to secure their pocket, because they know it takes everybody about 90 days for them to give up on themselves.
And it fades out.
So 90 days. I would like to say that that's about how long it would take me when I would start these, the keto diet and all these other, ridiculous things out there. And I'm not knocking it, but I've tried it, so I can knock it for myself. I'm not speaking for everybody else, but, it was about 90 days, 30 days, you see the weight loss, then 2 months come along and you're like, oh yeah, I'm still doing it. Oh, I'm eating no carbs, just all this fat. And, and then by the third month, you're just like, all right, like I stopped losing weight. I haven't eaten carbs in about 90 days. I'm about to chew this guy's head off. Let's go. And then by 90 days, you're like, yeah, that's not going to happen. They know.
Or what's another one for me? I would reward myself. I would say, hey, I lost 15, 20 pounds. I deserve a little cheat meal, or I deserve to go out and splurge a little bit. And guess what? That little splurge, it carries on, goes on the weekend and then carries on the rest of the week.
Well, it trickles down to childhood. That's what it is. You had that reward system. Oh, you eat all this and then you get this, and it usually went around food. Yeah. That was the way that they showed affection, was with food. A lot of times you don't even hear I love yous. You hear, are you hungry? Here's a hot plate. That's the way that we showed love at least in our culture, in my household. That's kind of how it was.
Yeah. I mean, social gatherings they're revolved around.
Yeah. If you're going to get together with family, there has to be food. And the thing is that that's not a bad thing. The problem is when you are excessive and you just overindulge. That's the problem. Even now, you can reward yourself. Absolutely. But you have to kind of work with yourself. And it's a lot of one-on-one talks. Like, okay, are you strong enough to reward yourself?
Yeah, be mindful.
Are you strong enough to be able to say, I've taken a bite, now that's it? Or whatever it is that you know you're allowed to do, are you strong enough? And if you're not, please don't put yourself in that place, because I can guarantee you're going to fail. And it's not because you're not capable of it. It's just that you're not ready. And that's because I've been there. I think everybody's been there, but it's very doable.
Oh, it is. I mean, we're living proof. We definitely are. So you want to give us a little food for thought?
And this is a great one, by the way. I like one of my biggest things, and you'll come to find out, is quotes. I absolutely love quotes. Those quotes that hit, like make your skin crawl. You're just like, dang, that was delicious when I heard it and I read it like, oof. Anyways, this is a great one. You can't become a new you while still holding on to the old version of yourself. You just can't. And it's a hard thing to do, because you become so dear with that person that you feel like that's home. But as you start your weight loss journey, as you start to go through all these, breakthrough obstacles, you break through traumas, because working out and being disciplined in itself is going to help you heal a lot of things in your life without you even knowing that it's happening. So you come to a point where you try to be the old version of you, and you feel like you're an imposter at that point. You're no longer that person. You're no longer whatever you used to enjoy. It no longer feeds you.
There's no more gratitude for that.
Yeah. So very important quote to look at, because you're going to need to reflect on that and accept and change.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, even whoever's listening to this, they can use that, take that at home, or digest it, think it over, and see what they think about that.
Yeah. And you're going to hear a lot of it too from people you've known all your life. They're going to say things along the lines of, oh, you've changed. And sometimes the tone won't be as positive as you would like it to be, because they want that version that they knew about you, because it was comforting to them in their current state. They want to stay there. They don't want to progress. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not fair to you. So you have to come to the realization of it. If it's no longer suiting you, it's no longer you. You have to know that it's time to move on. It's time to go to this next level of this new version of you. And of course, the only level to go with that is up.
Yeah.
You're leveling up.
You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
You have to be all in.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that once you come into that realization of, dang, I'm not the same person I used to be, you're going to be a little bit hurt. You might cry. But then when you come to the other side and you're like, dang, I'm up here now, and not that you feel like you're
looking down on people.
No.
It's definitely
it's just like a very you and you thing. And you know that you're just like, kind of like when you go on your old Facebook, right? And you see, no, I'm serious. Like you see the old posts and you're just like cringe. Like, how did I post that? That's so cringe. You can't even read it, and you delete it. You're like, oh my God, that's so stupid.
I had to do some of that too.
Well, that's the same thing when it comes to when you start to realize that you are no longer the old version of you. That's the same thing that happens. You start to realize a lot of the things you used to do are cringe. A lot of the things you used to say are cringe. The way you used to act is cringe. What you would allow in your life is now cringe, And no matter how hard you fight, no matter how hard you really try, it's no longer going to suit you. It's not, you got to take off that imposter suit and just,
be real.
Be real with yourself and say, hey, this is me and I love it. And if it doesn't align with whoever is around me, then that's life. But you're at peace with yourself, and that's all that matters. You got to be happy.
It's very empowering.
Yeah, that's a quote I really feel like, it's one to write down, one to put in front of the mirror or something, if that helps. I've never been like that. I'm more of a, just don't talk about your feelings.
Yeah, you're not very touchy-feely, but...
No, I'm not like that, but, I'm trying to work on that.
So let's get into the second segment of this. Let's talk about the physical changes.
Physical. Sorry.
Let me ask you this. How has your body changed since your journey began?
Well, you can literally see, my before and after pictures, and I don't need to tell you. There's significant amount of change.
I mean, look, honey, I'm your husband, and I can tell you, physically, I can see the changes.
Well, you're making me blush.
I'm being honest with you. You're not wrong about that.
Yeah. But, the thing that I would say about that is that the most rewarding thing I can say about how my body has changed is not really the physical part. For me, it's more about like how I carry that body now.
Right.
Right. That's more rewarding to me than the physical part of it, because you can be attractive. You can be an attractive woman, an attractive man. But if you carry yourself in such a way that it's like, man, it's almost a waste, And now I can tell you that it's like, I appreciate more how I carry my body, how I carry myself, because I carry it with such utter respect now. I care for it. I take care of it in ways I probably never did before as much.
Right.
Because I've always cared about my looks and, keeping up with myself. But the mental and the physical appearance never aligned. Right. So like I would have my makeup done, my hair done, but inside I was just crushed. I was just dead inside is how I can describe it. And
would you say you were like masking that? How you felt versus what you were portraying out?
Yeah. I don't talk about, Sandy doesn't talk about feeling. I don't want to talk about it. So I never said anything. I never, I don't know why, but majority of it is more about, I don't want to bother you or others with my
feeling.
Because it's like, don't worry, don't bother people with that, But now I can tell you that I carry myself with that respect. I carry myself with my self-esteem is through the roof, and it goes hand in hand. It's like you're working out, you got the discipline, you're taking care of your body, and now you respect that body. Now you're not going to take the shit you used to take before. Now you're people are going to talk to you a certain way that they are used to talking to you, and now you're just like, excuse me, Sandy doesn't live here anymore. It's like that. It's just like, I'm sorry. If I once did, I now don't. You respect yourself. And you're not being rude. You're just like, you start to understand the things you're just not going to allow anymore. It's just not going to happen. I don't work this hard. I didn't come this far to come this far.
Yeah, and you set your boundaries.
My boundaries sound more like you just won't hear from me.
Silence is gold.
I love it because why? Why bother? They're never going to see your side, and I don't want no one to. Mm-hmm. So again, it's how I carry myself, how I walk, how I talk, how I act, everything is different, and I'm loving it because it's not, for me, it's no longer a front. This is the genuinely authentic me I've always been, but was too afraid to be because of how I looked. And it sounds so stupid, but I believe someone out there might actually know what I'm saying. You feel like you had to act a certain way to hide everything you had inside and outside. And now it's like, no, this is actually me coming out, the person I wanted to be. What about you?
For me, physically, what I noticed just right off the bat.
You'll never find. Sorry, that's something.
It was my energy, because you know this. When I was at my heaviest, which was 350 pounds, that I was not active. I mean, I had to when obviously I had to go to work and do my responsibilities. But let me tell you, once I clocked out and I went home, 9 times out of 10, you would just find me just collapsing on the couch. I'd be so tired and I'd say, oh, let me just reward myself with a cold one and sit back and I'd be passed out on the couch. And that for me was like my biggest takeaway, because I couldn't see that. I couldn't live with myself with going home and not being present for my family. My kids would want to play with me, and they're little rugrats at the time, full of energy, and I'm just dying.
Yeah.
And they're pulling away at me that they want to play or whatnot. And that is one thing that I appreciate is the fact that I can go on all day. Sometimes I'm not even tired. I'll be working all day, working on projects and coming home and, working on the honey to-do list. Then more than anything, I'm just mentally fatigued, but I can still keep going. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate. And that's why I really take care of myself now, because I'm trying to preserve that for the long run. It's not just temporary. It's not because I'm still young. I want to consistently have that energy for whatever it is I need to do or tackle for that day. And it could be, most of my stuff now, it's not physical, but for the most part, I have the energy to do whatever I need to do for that day.
Yeah.
And that I will not take for granted anymore.
A lot of the changes that we see are not just physical, right? Like we're kind of going back to, it's physical, but there's more than that. So that's one thing to kind of understand when people are going through weight loss. I feel like that's not a topic that you hear a lot, that everyone's goal is just like, transformation, weight loss transformation. It's like the before and after you see the bodies, right? But no one really gets down into like what happens mentally,
Well, what's the most misunderstood part of the transformation?
I want to say that is it. Everyone understands that the transformation is going to come with physical changes, but the fact that you start to mentally there's changes mentally. You don't really know about that, and it can come as a shocker.
Right.
Just like, for example, us with, the bariatric surgery, it was one of the things that no one really talked about. The first month or so or two, you actually get into a depression.
Yeah.
I know I did. I didn't even want to leave my room. My mom was in the kitchen. I hear her banging dishes. My mom is a really, really hardworking woman.
Yeah,
oh, no, she doesn't. And she's very nurturing, and so I would hear her, and she was nervous and anxious because all she wanted to do was feed me, but I couldn't eat. So I remember she would eat in silence and hiding in the kitchen, and she wouldn't want to even warm it up because she says, "¿Qué vas a oler la comida? You're going to smell the food." So that all messes with you. I got depressed. I was like, outside of these four walls in my room, my bedroom, I understand that now life is different. Life has changed outside of these walls. Inside of this wall, it's like my own little routine, drinking your medicine, drinking your fluids or measuring, and all these like breathings, all these things you go through in that room when you're alone. Any person would look at that and be like, dang, that's fucked up. And it is fucked up. And you kind of start to be like, oh man, how did I do that to myself? Was it the wrong decision? Did I do the wrong thing?
It's definitely like buyer's remorse.
Yeah. I wanted to take that car back and I couldn't.
It was like, fuck.
Yeah. So
I remember when I got out of surgery and they're like, all right, it's time to take the first sip. As soon as I did it out of like a spoon, and it was like a teaspoon.
Syringe.
And I felt it. I was like, oh shit, this is different.
Yeah.
And then, you got to like walk and snap out of it. And yeah, it really hit you like a ton of bricks because you're just thinking like, what the fuck did I do?
And you had never had any kind of surgery in your life. So that must have been, and I know it was a huge, huge shock for you, but even me, I have had surgeries in the past.
Oh, yeah. You're a veteran.
Extreme things, and that was just the biggest shocker for me. So honestly, like one of the biggest things that's misunderstood is, the mental state, all the changes that you go through, not just physically. And that's one of them that I went through depression. You'd think you'd be excited. You'd think you'd be so happy, but everyone's different. And for me, yeah, I went through depression, because no one likes change. I can't stress that enough. No, but just it's natural. You don't like it. You want what's comforting, what's normal,
Yeah, it's definitely, the older I get, the less I'm more acceptable to change,
Now we're starting to understand the old folks.
Yeah,
I know I am. Before I remember I would say things like, oh, old farts, don't get it. And now I'm like, I am that old fart.
I get it. Yes.
I'm like, whoa, That's too loud. Shush it down. And let me be clear, okay? If it's my music, because I'm a music lover. Every day depends and vibes around music. My mood is music. Everything is just my life. So if it's my music, I don't care. I'll turn it up.
Listen, if I hear that you're bumping Metallica, I'm just going to leave you alone.
Yeah, that's a clear sign of F off. Yeah. It's one of them days, and it helps me. I love Metallica.
I can read the room by just what you're listening to at that moment.
Yeah, yeah. If I'm listening to Kali Uchis, you're more than welcome to come in. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. But how do you stay motivated when the changes start to slow down?
Yeah, and that will happen. But, for me, it was basically just understanding of where I am and where I was. And because you're going through so many changes and you're adapting and you're so focused on keeping the routine, like, okay, how much protein did I have today? Am I hydrated enough? Did I have my vitamins? Okay, I need to work out. All these things on top of all of that, your regular life, your kids or your job, whatever, you forget where you were. So sometimes I just kind of sit back and I grab my phone and I backtrack I go back in my photo albums and I look at what I used to look like. And then I think about where I was, my state of mind that day, that picture. And I remember, and I'm like, okay, damn, I've grown so much.
Yeah. It's like your video or your photo journal.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah. So one of the things I can't stress enough is journal everything.
Yeah.
Take pictures. And I know this. In the beginning, you're like, the last thing I want to do is take a picture of this body. I've been with it for too long.
I mean,
but believe me, you're going to miss it.
You have to, because I'm the worst at that. And honestly, if you go back to any pictures of my past, it's literally like from the chest up.
Isn't it ever? And also
maybe
where you kind of go up a little bit and aim down.
The double chin. Maybe because I didn't fit in the frame, but
well, that and I mean, honestly, it's just like you don't want to.
No,
you want to look as skinny as you can. Like what do you always say? Hey, make me look skinny. Hey, 0.5 on the lens. You want to widen that screen, but to kind of look slimmer and angle it. But I can't stress enough. Just take a straight up picture of what you look like currently, and make it as raw as it can be. Because you want to look at that. You don't want to look at a fake skinny picture. Take raw pictures, at least once a month and see your progress. Because believe me when I say you're going to want to look back and say, damn, that's where we were. And remember how hard you've worked. And that's what's going to remind you to wake up the next day and do it all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for me, what kept me motivated, honestly, for me, it was just consistency. I can't tell you what my motivation was, because motivation is going to fade out. I could look at a David Goggins video.
That 3 times.
He'd tell me I'm a piece of shit, get up and go fucking run. And it's like, oh, yeah, all right, let me get up. But that shit fades out. And what's really going to do it is the consistency, because some days are going to be great. You're going to feel fucking amazing. You're going to just crush it. But then there's those one days that you wake up and you have no energy. Something happened, you didn't get enough sleep, whatever the case is. And you're just not going to want to do the things that you have to do. But as long as you show up, just show up.
That's the first step. I remember, I don't know, I'm sure you do, but when we used to try not to laugh, when we used to drive to the gym and we'd be in the parking lot, acting like gym rats, like with our energy drink or whatever. What were this? They were Celsius.
Celsius, yeah.
Yeah, delicious. But, you drink one to say, this is like almost like the precursor, the hype man, right? Like, let's go. And that's what's going to get you in the door. And sometimes it'd be like, fuck, hey, you want to go get a torta or something?
You smell the tacos?
Yeah.
You'll find an excuse, It's like, oh, man, the gym is so packed today. I can't even get on a machine.
Yeah.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
But
and it's all poor planning. It's like, if it's almost like you self-sabotage.
Yeah.
What time the gym is packed. So of course you're going to plan at that time. So when you get there, you're like, oh, it was God's sign. God did not want me to work out today because it's packed, versus changing your mindset and say, okay, we know what's up. Let's plan ahead. How about we wake up 5 a.m. club? Let's go hit the gym. And even then I would say, man, push it till 6, because everybody is in fact at the gym at 5. So maybe either 4 or 6, whatever you can, whatever works for you.
Yeah, but plan accordingly.
Plan ahead. Don't set yourself up for failure, because we already have enough of that. The world is ensuring that we fail at certain things, and it's how it is.
Yeah.
So don't do that to yourself. Don't think about tortas before the gym.
Right. Get your torta after the gym.
No, don't do that. But the baby steps. Have some grace for yourself.
Yeah, go easy on yourself. It's a long road.
Mm-hmm. You're going to be on it for the rest of your life if you want to keep up with yourself. And it sounds like overwhelming, but it becomes second nature. It's natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going into something a little different, right?
Yeah. Relationships and social changes. This is a big one. This is the nitty gritty here, because we both have experiences with what comes after, during and the whole weight loss journey, you want to call it. Let me ask you this. How has it been with friendships or family dynamics? How has it been during your growth?
It's a very up and down roller coaster, because they want to be supportive, but they don't know how to be. They want to see the change, but they don't want to see the changes, because then they'll have to accept that there's changes to be made, right? So a lot of times, especially social gatherings, it's been different, because when you get together with family, especially, there's going to be food. They can't help but to want to feed you. And when they see how much you're eating, they're just like, no, te vas a morir. You're going to die. You can't eat that much. You need to eat more of this. Or they're used to seeing you eat a big ass plate of pozole.
Round 2.
And then my mouth is watering because I'm thinking of your mom's pozole. And then when they see you eat a little tiny bowl and you probably can't even finish that, they're like, oh my God, no. And that's that kind of, when you see that from your elders, you're just like, am I doing the wrong thing?
And it's almost like they showcase you. It's happened to me. They're like, mira, that's all he's going to eat.
Yeah.
And it's just like, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can eat.
Mr. Bruno Mars over here. I'm sorry. Your family's funny, but, you have to get that thick skin. And that's where we go into, you start to find yourself. You start to find your voice. You start to respect yourself. And, before, when you will fall for those things that, your family would say, or, now you won't. And there be no ifs, ands, or buts, because you're going to be as firm as you've ever been and set those boundaries as high as you can. And they're going to start to see, like, damn,
it's working.
like damn, we can't make, no shit. And, so that might make people uncomfortable too. And it has. But here's all I can tell you is
you have to carry yourself with that, because it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard not partaking in the old habits. It really is.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, when the transformation is happening and there, you go to that first setting or that first dinner with family or friends.
No, that was tough.
Because, everybody's eating, drinking, and, here you are, I can't drink water yet, or I got to eat first, then I got to wait, and even then you have to pretty much, not be at their pace.
Yeah.
And you're nibbling. Yeah. And it's so hard, because when you're in a social gathering, nobody really pays attention, but you eat more when you're around other people.
Yeah. Because
you're laughing, you're having a good time, and, you're indulging. And that was one of the hardest things for me, because you know me, honey. I'm all about where the best spots are to eat.
Oh, yeah. There is no city that we can walk into where this guy does not know what's around. Oh, yeah. We can walk into Pasadena. There's a sushi spot over there. In the corner over there, you'll find a barbecue spot.
Oh, you want the best tacos
Teriyaki
in town?
Grill.
Let's go. I know a spot, and yeah, that is definitely one of the hardest things. Or you have to plan ahead. If you're going to a restaurant where it's like, dang, I I can't eat any of this. This stuff is too greasy, or this doesn't fit my macros. Shoot, sometimes I'd have to take a protein shake.
Like a lunch. I literally feel like I'm my own baby now because I carry
Snacks.
I'm a snacker. And if I don't walk out with my water cup, I feel like I left a piece of me at home, you know, but it sounds like overwhelming and it may sound scary, but you adapt for yourself.
Yeah, you definitely evolve.
Because even when you're out, you start to think, okay, I'm leaving. I need to think about what I'm going to eat and it needs to be healthy. So let's just say, you know, you go to a certain restaurant. What are the substitutions you can have there? There's so many. There's no excuse is what I'm saying.
It's just getting out of that comfort zone because you don't want to be that person of, well, you know, can I get this without the dairy, or can I get this without, you know, you just want to order it how it's plated. But yeah, we've found out that for the most part, most restaurants are
accommodate that.
They will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if they don't, then that's just not your restaurant.
Then fuck them. Go to the next one.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe hopefully they'll get it together. But I know when we go to Starbucks, for example, our, you know, the little sticker on the side of the drink looks like a whole dang recipe of I don't know what. But it's all the substitutions that we have to do sometimes. You know, that's what I'm saying when I say there's no excuse. You can go and do anything you want to do. Any social gathering, it doesn't matter. There's no excuse. You can live your life. You can be happy. Nothing's going to change but what you're putting in your body. And that should change, you know.
What are some of the boundaries that shook people? I could tell you this. Some of the boundaries that I had to do, I didn't say much. I let my actions speak louder. You know, it's kind of hard to, you know, have to explain yourself but, you know, that's one of the things that you have to really understand, that you have to go ahead and need to sometimes just say no. It was hard. It was hard in the beginning, but it gets easier with time. And it just becomes second nature. If it doesn't align with what you're doing, you know, people sooner or later, they get the drift, especially when they start seeing the results. And they're seeing that, oh, okay, this is not the fad. This is not the 90 days. This is their lifestyle, you know. And it came to a point where we even had family that would, when they would invite us, they'd say, hey, do you guys eat this? Or, you know, what's your guys' diet?
And that's the support that I can't even explain to you how beautiful that feels.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the position that we're in and you feel like you're the outcast, you feel like the black sheep, right? You feel like you're you're just the odd one, the oddball.
Yeah.
And you think that, you know, you question yourself every single day as far as like, is it the right thing, what not? But then when you get that one person that is, you know, so inviting and without even questioning, like, okay, I understand, you know, what your journey is and what you're going through. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to accommodate you. Like, I just understand that part. Like, they're inviting you to their house, right? So you should be grateful already. No, they're making it about you and asking, hey, what is it that you can eat? What can't you eat? Like, I want to make sure that, you know, we offer you what you can eat. We'll all eat what you're eating. No worries. That is like gold to me.
Yes. I mean, especially because
it's beautiful.
9 times out of 10, the food that we can eat it's actually pretty good for you.
Yeah,
it is. And, you know, there's been people that now they want to know, they want to learn, they want to adapt to that lifestyle as well, because they're in some way, shape, or form in that position as well. Where
but they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and you're just helping them. We're helping without even knowing that we are, and we're starting to hear that now. We won't hear it as much in the beginning, because they're just with the same idea that we are. We're gonna fail. They're gonna fail. That's what we all do. It's normal, and it's okay. But then when you, like you said, you know, they start to notice, like, dang, this is for real. Then they're like, okay, so what are you doing? Tell me more.
Yeah.
And it takes guts to do that. Anyone that has ever asked for advice from us, I appreciate them, because I understand what it takes to even step up and say, hey, what are you doing? Like, can you help me out? Like, that right there, that is courage. because sometimes, people's ego and their pride will run them down, and just because it's you, they won't even bother to ask. They don't want to give you that because I know that they'll have to acknowledge your gains.
Yeah, sometimes it's the pride or the ego.
Yeah. But I still have hope that it'll go away and they'll come. I want to.
Yeah, I mean, I geek out on this. I love it. Some people, they'll call me or they'll reach out and it's hey, I don't want to bug but hey, is this good or should I do this? And I always tell them like,
it feeds my soul.
I love
this.
I'm
helping. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it because at some point in time, I was in that position.
Yeah. And you kind of feel embarrassed to even ask, but they didn't, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the takeaway with this. It's when you start to see the things that really work for you and now people are intrigued and they want to know what you're doing, it's definitely something that you really appreciate.
Yeah. And
you're not a snob about it. At least I'm not. I love to share whatever knowledge I've gained.
No, there definitely is people that do. They're snobs about it or they gatekeep, because I've been in situations like that where I've gotten, not by anybody I know, by the way, but like just people that were on TikTok or whatever, and they started out just like everybody else, and then they got a little bit bigger, and then all of a sudden now they're like, floof, don't talk to me or whatever, and you're just like, well, that's rude, So at the end of the day, the only takeaway here is, if you're worried about the people around you, don't be, because the people that should be around you will stick with you and meet you on the other side where you're at. They'll get to you. It might take a little longer, but they'll get there. And if they were not meant to be, because they're not applauding for you, because for whatever reason or whatever, it just irks them too much, they will step out on their own. And that's going to be as natural as it can be. You won't even notice it. Yeah. You just won't. It'll gradually happen on its own.
So here's one. Losing people versus outgrowing people. Is there a difference?
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of what I was just mentioning right now. So that's a good question too. It's something that you have to kind of like ask yourself. All the changes around you, not only are you going through it, physically you look good, mentally, whatever, but then you're starting to notice like your surroundings are looking different. You're sitting in different rooms, you're sitting next to different people, you're having conversations with different people that are, it comes with the territory, And when you lose someone, because I've lost someone, it hurts. I won't even get into that. But when you outgrow people, because that's what it is. It's not that you're losing them. You're outgrowing them. You're outgrowing them, It won't be painful. It'll be peaceful. Right. It'll be peaceful because there's nothing wrong with them. They're where they want to be, and that's okay. But it's not suiting you anymore. And it's almost, uncomfortable to have certain conversations because you just kind of step back a little bit. When you find yourself in a table with people and you're listening to the conversations, you're looking to your left, you're looking to your right, and they seem so familiar. These people, they're your people, but you just all of a sudden feel like you're sitting at a table full of strangers, and you hear what they're saying, and you're listening to the conversations, and you're just like, I tap out.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't relate.
The best way that I could put it, they just don't align with your new habits and mindset.
Yeah. And again, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
They're perfectly fine. It just you think differently now, right?
And that's one of the things that happen when you outgrow. It's kind of a weird phase because you outgrow that circle and now you're kind of going into this new phase of other people or surroundings, and in between it's almost kind of lonely because you're trying to find that. But, little by little you start to, find the people, or it kind of gravitates towards you. And, I really, there's people that I talk to for certain things, for business or, with this lifestyle that we're doing. And it's awesome because then now you're hitting topics that are relatable. You're making or having conversations that you crave, that you want to grow into.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. It's just, you really just want to keep improving, keep growing, because you know that that's what it is. As humans, that's our human nature. And that's what's going to keep you happy. That's what's going to keep you consistent, and because you'll want to keep evolving and keep growing.
Yeah. You know, people always made it feel like, or just like it was normal to hear something like, dang, that person's never changed. They've always stayed the same. Like almost as if it was a flex, you know, like they've kept it real. They've been the same person forever. And it's like, for me personally, I don't see that as a flex. I don't want to be the same person I was even a year ago. Like I want to continue to grow and change and be better, a better version of myself. You know, you can be your personality will always be the same. Regardless of my size, I've always been the same goofy person, the nerd, the geek that I don't look like it, but I am. You know, I've always been the same person. Yeah. But there's certain things of you, characteristics that are going to change and evolve. And I'm all for that. And that's what happens here. You will change. You will grow. You will, you know, lose people. And that's Absolutely. Okay.
So I think this is our last segment here. The lifestyle and hustle shifts. What habits or routines have changed in your life?
Habits and routines. Well, my nutrition, my diet. That has been the biggest, most important key factor here. Is once I changed all that, and once I, you know, made that my new lifestyle, I adapted, everything else just kind of followed, because I was eating healthy, because I had this diet to follow, and I was on track, and I am, you know, that dictates the rest of my day.
Right.
If I wake up and I have the right nutrition, and if I get myself going, that's going to dictate what the rest of my day is going to look like. Versus if I were to wake up and not care about my nutrition and starts to slack off, I believe that that's going to be the rest of my day. And if it's really, really bad, it might even flow into the weekend. And then I keep it going even harder on the weekend. And then, so keeping track of my diet, keeping track of my nutrition, taking my vitamins, all that, you know, it sets me up. And it's almost like my foundation. It's the foundation for everything else, because that then sets me up for my workouts. I have a better session. And after that, what do you want to do? Well, you want to, you know, feed your body. So then you go and you make sure, okay, I have to have my protein. I lifted. And then you keep it going. And that's what is going to keep me on track.
For me, that was the biggest one. I dialed in on the food, because no amount of equipment, no amount of memberships or whatever, it's not going to compensate if you don't have that food dialed in.
Yeah. You can do as many squats as you want. You ain't going to get that booty.
You got to feed that ass.
You got to feed that ass. That ass requires a lot of calories, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once I dialed in on that, and I really was laser focused on, this is what I need to eat. This is the times I need to eat. And I mean, you know what I eat. It's boring at times, but that's what kept it going.
I don't think it's boring, because there's so many recipes that we have, but I know we have, I mean, it's for me, it's all about the sauce, baby.
No, you got to keep it saucy.
You got to keep it saucy. You got the right sauce. I don't care if you're eating a steak, an egg. Honey, I don't care.
I went all the way to Oakland to go buy 4 bottles of La Victoria sauce.
And that was delicious.
Yes.
You can have that on anything, and I swear by it. You can have it on a burger, a hot dog. I mean, anything. A taco.
I mean, steak. You name it. But yeah, that's definitely that's definitely a key right there. But
yeah, it's sauces, but definitely.
How changing your environment or circle affected your hustle?
Well, my environment. I had to change it up. You know, a lot of changes are happening in my life, and I have to adapt to that. And a lot of rooms that I was sitting in were no longer serving me, and were in fact hindering me. When you find that peace within yourself, and you really truly find yourself, I want to believe, you no longer want to hear certain conversations. I want to talk about your dreams. I want to talk about your goals. Where do you want to be? You know, what are you working towards? Let's talk about that. You know, you have business ideas, because I'm a businesswoman. Let's talk. Let's brainstorm. That's what feeds my soul. I don't want to talk about people. I don't want to hear your problems that you can fix yourself. I don't want to hear it. Toxic, negative vibes drain me to the core. And I had to separate myself from a lot of social gatherings, a lot of people, because it was no longer serving me. It was actually hurting me. And I think I've done enough of that my whole life to myself to then allow it to come from other people. Not going to happen. So I had to change my environment, walk away from a lot of people, walk away from a lot of situations. And that definitely has helped keep me on track, keep me positive. What about you?
I think for me, changing my environment or circle, it's definitely improved a lot of aspects. I really have noticed it, and I see it. And yeah, I mean, that it all goes hand in hand. Everything. You work on yourself, and it's going to portray in everything that you do. Because once you dial in on yourself and you respect, you're going to carry yourself a lot different. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's definitely working. And it's in the progress. And, that's one of the things that you and I have really, held on to, and we definitely hold each other accountable for it. We push each other and we keep each other consistent. Wow. This is really, this has been going on for a while.
Yeah. We did good.
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't knocked at the door, try to kick us out of here.
Yeah. But it was a great one. And I really hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope that they learned something from it and that we helped in some way. Right?
Yeah. I mean, or at least to get the thinking process going and really seeing, what do I need to change?
Yeah. But more importantly, just know that you're okay.
You're good.
You're not wrong. You're going to get there. Keep the work going, keep it up, and everything will trickle in a line. You'll get there. Trust me.
So look, to conclude here, our outro, you want to call it, let me just say this. Change isn't easy. It's messy, it's lonely, and it's personal. But on the other side of discomfort is growth.
So if you're in a season of change, we see you. Keep pushing. The hustle doesn't stop just because it gets heavy. Remember that. And it will get heavy.
It does. Thanks for tuning in to the Heavy2Hustle Podcast. If this episode hits home, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to leave a review, a follow. We're on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, so we're at Heavy, the number 2, Hustle. And that is all across all the platforms. We really appreciate anybody that's stuck around this whole time. This has literally been in the works. And, let me tell you guys, it's not as easy as just hitting the record button and let's go.
No.
We have done numerous,
self-sabotaging environment over here.
Yeah. But this was truly an amazing experience, and we're really, really happy to get this going. And so with that being said, we'll catch you on the next episode. Same hustle, same heat. Thank you guys.
Bye. Yay. We did good.